A long, long time ago, in the ancient land of Egypt, the Israelites were slaves, suffering under the rule of a harsh and fearful Pharaoh. The king worried they were growing too numerous, so he made a terrible decree. Every baby boy born to the Hebrews was to be killed. But one brave mother refused to obey. She gently placed her newborn son in a waterproof basket and hid him among the tall reeds of the Nile River. Soon after, Pharaoh's own daughter discovered the baby. Her heart filled with compassion, and she decided to raise him as her son. She gave him the name Moses. Moses grew up in the luxury of the royal palace, but he always knew he was an Israelite. One day, he witnessed an Egyptian brutally beating a Hebrew slave. Filled with righteous anger, Moses struck the Egyptian, taking his life. Terrified of the Pharaoh's wrath, he fled into the vast desert of Midian, where he lived for years as a humble shepherd. One ordinary day, while tending his flock, Moses saw an extraordinary sight. A bush engulfed in flames, yet it wasn't burning up. And from within the fire, the voice of God called out to him, "Moses, take off your sandals, for you are standing on holy ground. I have seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. Go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go." Moses was filled with fear and doubt, feeling unworthy of such a monumental task. But God promised to be with him every step of the way. So, Moses found his courage and returned to Egypt to stand before the most powerful man in the world. "Let my people go," Moses demanded. But Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he refused. In response, God sent a series of devastating plagues upon Egypt. The Nile turned to blood, swarms of frogs and flies covered the land, and darkness fell for days. Still, Pharaoh would not yield. Finally, after the 10th and most terrible plague, the death of every firstborn in Egypt, a grieving Pharaoh at last told the Israelites to leave. Moses led his people out of the land of their enslavement. But it wasn't long before Pharaoh changed his mind and sent his mighty army to chase them down. The Israelites found themselves trapped, with the churning Red Sea before them and Pharaoh's chariots closing in behind. Panic swept through the crowd. But Moses, trusting in God, raised his staff. Miraculously, the sea parted, creating a path of dry land. The Israelites crossed safely to the other side. When the Egyptian army tried to follow, the walls of water crashed down, sweeping them away forever. God had delivered his people. Their journey continued through the desert, and at the foot of Mount Sinai, God gave Moses the 10 Commandments, a set of divine laws to guide them in their new life of freedom. Although the journey to the Promised Land was long and difficult, and Moses himself would not live to enter it, he remained a faithful leader.